Hello and welcome to this mini video series on how to create a healthy, happy body for yourself. So in this first video, what we will be covering is the importance of limiting or reducing the amount of toxins that we put into our body, and also to help our body cleanse the toxins, heavy metals that are in our bodies. And the truth of the matter is that we are born into this world with chemicals in our bodies. Even they've done tests on the umbilical cord on little babies, and there were over 200 chemicals in the umbilical cord of the babies that they examined, which is pretty alarming, right? And there's a lot of factors, right, that play in here, and how much. So some people come into this world with, a low amount of toxins, and other people come into this world with a much higher amount of toxins. It depends on a lot of environmental factors, where you live, and what your mom has been eating, and even going back generations, right? So why is this important? Why do we care about toxins in our body? Well, there are several studies that show that a link between toxins in our body and chronic disease. And just to give one example, many of us use plastic on a regular basis, and studies have shown that toxins from plastic, for example, have been linked to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and other chronic disease. And also, toxins actually make us hold on to weight. And it can be, and it often is, a major reason to weight loss resistance. Because the toxins can get stored in our fat cells and they're not being released. Especially because nowadays, of course, the body is designed to be self-cleaning and to clean itself. We have the liver, an amazing organ that does all this work to clean our blood, to filter the toxins, and to help our body. And, the liver is actually part of the digestive system. And it plays a huge and very important role when it comes to protecting us from toxins in our environment and toxins from the food that we eat, right? It's becoming increasingly important to manage the amount of toxins that we put into our bodies, or the amount of toxins that we do expose our bodies to, and also the amount of toxins that we put into our body through food and water. So nowadays there is this explosion, right, of toxins, and I'll give a few examples. So, for example, if you spray your lawn or your house, if you spray your house for bugs, if you spray your lawn with pesticides or herbicides, those are chemicals that you will get into your body. If you eat non-organic food, you get a higher amount of pesticides and herbicides into your body and chemicals. Also, if you, for example, get vaccinations like the flu vaccine, also it contains heavy metals, actually. If you constantly eat using plastic containers, or if you heat stuff in the microwave in plastic containers, toxins. And also something that we don't always realize, and me included, is that toxins are really in every, unless you're super clean, in every single product that we use, be it to clean our house, to clean our bodies, shampoos, perfumes, soap, even supposedly, health brand soaps contain chemicals that can be found in, paint that you paint walls in smaller amounts, but still, it all adds up, and the body actually gets overloaded, or the liver can actually get overloaded. And when it does get overloaded, then we can start piling on the pounds. And that is oftentimes one of the main reasons to why we start gaining weight. It can be the main reason to why we start piling on the pounds as we age. if you're anything like me, I'm 42, going on 43, I have to think. I noticed that when I think it was after 35 or something like that, I started noticing that I couldn't really get away with, eating candy every night like I had previously, because I noticed that I started gaining weight, right? And then, I thought, yeah, this is what happens. This is what we think. We think it's to be expected and normal as we age, but it's not. It doesn't have to be. And it's one way of our liver to tell us, hold on, I can't handle this anymore, right? The amount of the toxic overload that we're all exposed to. And also to mention something a very common product, or I should say a very common name on ingredient lists, on shampoos, on soaps, on, what do you call it? Detergent, is fragrance. So if you see this word, it most likely means that this product contains a number of different chemicals, some of which likely have been linked to serious disease, even cancer. And of course, if we are exposed to that, we can do that our whole life, but you come to a point when all these things add up. Also, the water that we drink on a daily basis, tap water, contains not only a lot of chemicals and chlorine and rests of medications and lots of different toxins. And many times people use a filter like a Brita filter that only filters out kind of like odors and not really removes the actual toxic substances, which is also a big problem. So through the water we also get a lot of toxins. Through the air we breathe. If we buy new clothes and don't wash them, put them straight around our skin, full of toxins. Buy new furniture, a new bed, full of toxins and chemicals. So all these things in the end add up. And so it is hugely, hugely important to learn how to reduce the toxic load. First of all, reduce the amount of toxins that we put into our body or that we expose our body to. That's number one. And then also to help our body to be in almost like a constant state of detox, to eat foods that help our body cleanse itself. Because our liver needs all the help it can get with, handling all the toxins that we are exposed to. What I wanted to also mention is that toxins play also a very important role when it comes to hormones in the body. So, and we all know, like we often say, as we age too, especially if you're a woman, that it's normal, with age because the hormones change and all this and that, then, we start gaining weight. I already touched upon this a little bit, but toxins actually play a huge role in hormones and how it affects our body and our weight. But not only your weight, but also your mood, your sleep, and your mental clarity. So there's a lot of factors here that can be affected by the toxic overload. And as I said, the body is designed to be able to handle a certain amount of toxins. But today we are just overloaded in today's society, and it's going to become increasingly important to learn how to eat to help your body rid itself of toxins. And so many times when we have this stubborn weight that won't come off with eating healthy and moving your body, many times it just comes down to a toxic overload. So in short, toxins are not only can be very harmful to your body and have been linked to serious chronic disease, but also it can make you gain weight, and it can also keep you fat by disrupting the fat burning process in the body, in the metabolism. it can also affect, your appetite hormones. So toxins can mess with your hormones, mess with your weight, mess with your health. And so I know that you didn't just come here for the problem. I know that you are wanting to hear, what can you do? So what is the solution to this then? Obviously, the obvious answer is to reduce your exposure to toxins, toxic food, toxic products. So this all happens in progression. It's not like something you do all at once. But you can start small and start switching out things in your environment and in your life. So, for example, a simple thing you can start doing is to start buying organic foods, because or at least there is a list that's called the Dirty Dozen. It's a list of the foods that contain the highest amount of pesticides, the vegetables and the fruit that contains the highest amount of pesticides. And if you are not able, for some reason, to not buy everything organic, you can just make sure that you buy, grapes and apples and nectarines and peaches and strawberries and all these fruit and tomatoes. Buy those organic. And certain other foods like avocado is not as important to buy organic because it doesn't have as much pesticides in general in it. So that's one thing you can do. And the other thing you can do to decrease the toxins is to, when you eat, if you are a meat eater, you're committed to eating meat, make sure you only eat grass-fed meat. Also, when it comes to fish, make sure you don't go for wild fish only. Even the fish that says free of no antibiotics, it can be problematic because in these fish farms, they also feed the fish food that they're not really supposed to be eating. And they've been shown to contain high... they've been shown to contain chemicals and plastic and all sorts of things that as we consume it enters our body. So we get those toxins, certain toxins that have been linked to cancer also. So best to avoid farmed fish and just go with wild fish when you can. And also the same with meat. So many times animals like cows are fed GMO crop, genetically modified foods that we don't want to put into our body. And when we buy meat, which is most likely the case when we go out to a restaurant and eat meat, we will get the GMO substances and chemicals and stuff into our body, and that's not good. So ideally go grass-fed if you want to eat meat. So what are a few things that you can start doing to help your body detox? So one very simple thing that you can start doing already is to add leafy greens to your diet, something like spinach or cilantro. Cilantro is actually very, very good for helping pull out heavy metals and toxins from your body. So you can start doing that right now. Add it to your smoothie, add it to your salad, add it to your sandwich if you eat sandwiches. Just add it. And I'm not talking about a little sprinkle of spinach here. I'm talking, add handfuls. And I find that it's very helpful if you put it into like a smoothie, because then it's so easy to, you don't have to chew it as much. So it's quicker to get to eat it. What else did I want to mention? Yes, so instead of using instead of using plastic containers, go for glass. Whenever possible, go for glass containers. And whatever you do, don't heat plastic in the micro oven if you're using that. And it doesn't mean that it's safe just because you drink from a BPA-free bottle. It's always best to go with a non-plastic bottle. I prefer glass to be on the safer side. Also for kids, plastic straws, plastic everything. I would rather, avoid that, because since we get so much stuff from all other sources. I can go on forever about this, but it's super important to know where to start, to have a plan, to have a system to follow. And these are just a few examples that I mentioned. There are a lot of other things that you can be doing, things that you can keep in mind, changes you can do to your diet to reduce toxic load and help your body cleanse in a natural and way. And if you want to see, to explore more how this applies to your specific situation, just contact me and we can set up the free consultation that you got from signing up for this mini video series. I would love to chat with you and see how I can help you reach your specific health goal. And let's see, in tomorrow's video, we will be covering something very interesting. It's related to stress and the link between stress and metabolism. And you don't want to miss this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Speak to you soon.